Hello children, welcome to AIMS India online classes. This is a chemistry session. Here we are going to discuss about acids, bases and salts. In this session, let us see introduction part and especially about acids. Acids, bases and salts are three important classes of chemical compounds. Many of the food you eat and the liquids you drink also contain acids and bases, even salts also. Yes, we may know or don't know the substances which we are eating, which we are observing daily in our daily life, they may contain these acids, bases, or salts in them. See, some food items which we eat, like lemon juice and some vegetables, these all contain certain acids or bases in them. Acids and bases have been known by their properties since the early days of experimental chemistry. Not only these days, from the earlier days onwards, these acids and bases are known to the human beings based upon their properties. For thousands of years, people have known that vinegar, lemon juice, and many other foods they taste sour. Do you know that? Yes, lemon juice, vinegar, and orange juice, and some other food items like tamarind. These all they taste sour. This was known from thousands of years. It was discovered that these things, these food substances, taste sour because they all contain citric acid and ascorbic acid in them. The food items like vinegar, lemon juice, they are tasting sour because of the presence of certain acids called citric acid and ascorbic acid. Okay, it was found later. Now let us see about acids. What are acids? Where do they present? How they are categorized? Okay, which food item contains which kind of acids? Let us see these all here. The word acid was being derived from a Latin word acidus, which means sour. In fact, all acids they are sour in taste. That's why the name acids is given for these chemical substances because it was observed that earlier days almost all the acids they taste sour. So this word acid is given from the Latin word acidus, which means that name sour. In 1887, the Swedish chemist Svante Arrhenius proposed that all acids contain hydrogen ions. What does it mean by hydrogen ions? I think you know H plus ions are called hydrogen ions. So Arrhenius proposed that all acids contain H plus ions in their molecules, which provide acids their special properties such as turning blue litmus solution to red, etc. So because of the presence of these H plus ions in the molecules of acids, they are attaining some special properties, just like turning litmus paper color from blue to red. Okay. Non-metals such as carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, nitrogen, these all when they burn in oxygen, they form respective oxides. These oxides are acidic oxides because when these acidic oxides when they dissolve in water, they form respective acids. So non-metallic oxides they are acidic in nature because these non-metallic oxides when they dissolve in water they form respective acids. If you dip a blue litmus paper into this solution, what's that solution? Non-metallic oxide dissolved in water, then a solution is formed. So if you dip a blue litmus paper into this solution, we observe that that litmus paper turns red. It shows that acidic character of that solution. That is, non-metallic oxides and their solutions in water, they show acidic properties. For example, as we told, one of the non-metals, carbon. Carbon, when burnt in oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide. This we know already. Carbon, when burnt in oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide. If carbon dioxide is dissolved into water, we know carbon dioxide is fairly soluble into water. So if carbon dioxide dissolved into water, it forms an acid which is known as carbonic acid. So this is the formula of carbonic acid. So it is non-metallic oxide. When non-metallic oxide dissolved into water, it is forming an acid called carbonic acid here. So these two, non-metallic oxide and the solution formed when non-metallic oxide dissolved into water, these both will show acidic properties. So when you dip a blue litmus paper into the solution, that is carbonic acid solution, that turns red. That shows its acidic character. Okay. So let us see here some list of non-metallic oxides and their acids formed when they dissolved into water. See here, some non-metals are mentioned here as we discussed. Carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, nitrogen. These all are non-metals. When they burnt in oxygen, in the sufficient amount of oxygen, they form their respective oxides. So just now we have seen carbon when burnt in oxygen forms carbon dioxide. When this carbon dioxide dissolved into water, it forms carbonic acid. In the same way, sulfur forms two kinds of oxides when burned. So they dissolve into water and they form respective acids. Phosphorus also in the same way, phosphorus pentoxide is formed when it is burnt. If you dissolve this phosphorus pentoxide into water, it forms phosphoric acid. Similarly, nitrogen on burning in the presence of oxygen forms nitrogen dioxide. This nitrogen dioxide dissolves into water to form nitric acid. So these are the acids formed when non-metallic oxides dissolve into water. So we can say these non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Non-metallic oxides and the solutions formed when these non-metallic oxides dissolved into water both show acidic character. So into these solutions, if you dip a blue litmus paper, they turn red in color. Now let us see the classification of acids. Acids are classified based upon their different properties. Let us see first on the basis of their sources. So based on the sources from where we are getting these acids. These acids are categorized into two types. One of them is organic acids. The acids derived from living things like animals and plants are called organic acids. What are organic acids? The acids which are derived from living things, because here the word organic representing living substance. So the acids which are derived from living things like animals and plants are known as organic acids. We have already learned that milk, lemon, green mangoes and tamarind are sour tasting. All of them contain certain naturally occurring acids in them. Because of these acids present in those, they are getting that sour taste. Such acids are found in animals and plants also. These acids, which are found in animals and plants, are called organic acids. You can see here in the picture. Certain acids are present here. Okay, these all are derived from living things like plants and animals. These acids are called organic acids. Let us see some examples for these organic acids. For example, lactic acid. This lactic acid is present in sour milk and curd. Okay, and citric acid, which is present in citrus fruits like lemon, oranges, etc. And the tamarind, used in different foods and as a preservative, contains tartaric acid. Tamarind contains tartaric acid and formic acid present in ants. The sharp pain caused by the sting of nettles and bees is due to the formic acid. So when they bite us, they push into our body or they spray on the skin. Because of the spraying or pushing this formic acid on our skin, we feel that sharp pain when ants bite us. That is because of formic acid. So ants contain formic acid in them. And vitamin C, which is very important for our body. It is also an organic acid which is known as ascorbic acid. It is present in majorly in citrus fruits like lemons and oranges. So lemons and oranges, they contain citric acid as well as ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is nothing but vitamin C. Okay, it boosts our immune system. It is very important for our body. So if you observe, these all food items, they taste sour, and here these acids are obtained from these living beings like plants and animals. So these acids which are derived from plants and animals are called organic acids, right? See some examples for these organic acids and their sources are listed here. Let us observe once. Acetic acid, it is obtained, it is present in vinegar. Citric acid, citrus fruits. So in this way, some acids are mentioned here. You can observe once what are the sources of different organic acids. These all are plants and animals and their derivatives, if you observe once. That is why these all acids are called organic acids. And now the second category of acids based upon their sources, they are inorganic acids. The acids derived from minerals are called inorganic acids or mineral acids. For example, the inorganic acids. In the earlier case, we have told the acids derived from plants and animals are called organic acids. But these acids are prepared in the laboratory from the chemicals. That is why these are called mineral acids or inorganic acids. See some examples for the inorganic acids are mentioned here: sulfuric acid, nitric acid, hydrochloric acid, carbonic acid, phosphoric, etc. Now, on the basis of strength, how these acids are classified. So, based upon the strength, acids are classified into two categories. One is the strong acids. The acids which undergo almost complete ionization in an aqueous solution, thereby producing high concentration of H plus ions, are called as strong acids. What does it mean here? So, in terms of extent of ionization, any acid having practically ionization of 30% or above that are considered as strong acids. So, we have to know here a few words. What is meant by ionization and concentration of H plus ions? Let us see one example. Just now, I have seen an inorganic acid example, HCl, isn't it? It is one of the acids as we know. When it dissolves into water, it splits into H plus ion and Cl minus ion. So here this acid is producing H plus ions. So based upon the extent of number of molecules splitting like this, for all acids, all the molecules they won't be splitting, they won't be ionized. This is called ionization also. So all the molecules they won't be splitting into respective ions like this. very few molecules they will be separating into H plus ions and negative ions. So based upon this extent, the categorization of acids into strong and weak is dependent. So the acids which can ionize 30% or above that are called as strong acids. For example, if you take 100 molecules of an acid into water, when you dissolve them into water, more than 30 molecules if they dissolve, they separate into respective ions like this, H plus and negative ions. Then that acid is said to be strong acid. Okay. So these are all the examples for the strong acids. See here, nitric acid, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, etc. These all are strong acids. What does it mean? When they dissolve into water, more than 30% of their molecules, they split into respective ions. That splitting into respective ions is also called ionization. So in these acids, ionization will be more than 30%. If you dissolve this nitric acid into water, it splits into H plus and NO3 minus. In this way, more than 30% of the molecules of this acid will be ionized into respective ions. That's why this is a strong acid. In the same way, these acids are also. Another category, weak acids. The acids which undergo partial ionization in an aqueous solution are called weak acids. That means any acid which is having a practically ionization of below 30% is considered as weak acid. So if you dissolve around 100 molecules of an acid into water, below 30% or 30 molecules, if they ionize into respective ions, then that acid is said to be weak acid. Here are some examples for the weak acids. See, examples for the weak acids, carbonic acid, sulfuric acid, sulfurous acid, hydrogen sulfide. Mostly we'll be observing these acids frequently. Acetic acid, formic acid. Okay, these are the acids which they ionize less than 30% when dissolved into water. So they are called weak acids. Okay, thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our YouTube channel AIMS Today and visit our website aimstoday.in for latest updates and recorded videos.